The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's our one and only show for this week, Bird Week, Wednesday.
Bird Week. Just for an explanation, on Monday we had a security issue here at the studio. The campus went into lockdown. And because when we go into lockdown, our transmissions cease and we go into tape programming. Because we can't make any noise inside there when we're in lockdown. So that's what happened on Monday. There wasn't any danger. It was a drill, but we have to follow the protocol. So hence why our show was canceled on Monday. Today is our last show of the week because of Thanksgiving. And Friday, while we've been offered the opportunity to do a show, if we want to drag somebody in on their day off, we figured everyone should get the weekend off.
Yeah, and, well, you know, everybody's going to probably still be sleeping from the tryptophan in the turkey. So everybody will be sleeping. Trying to recover, yeah, from the desserts and the turkey, so.
Yeah, well, I understand that you may have gotten some decent desserts.
I'm contemplating going up to a local establishment known for their pies and cakes, and everybody knows about it at the East Providence, and picking up a 1-foot high apple pie and a few other items, maybe an apple strudel with raisins and some chocolate cake. I don't know. Depends. But hey, we got a lot to talk about because we didn't have a show on Monday, and we've got to reiterate some things. I see a whole bunch of stuff, and I really like Marc's column again. I like a couple things. He made a couple of really classic comments, you know, and it talks about people. It talks about the election and getting this people in, and I like the little comment about the Charter Commission. The Charter Commission, which fixed what wasn't broken and dynamited the things that worked, should have included a paragraph about the Christmas tree. I thought that was pretty cute. And at the end, it talks about, I love you, Christmas tree. You're the only one in government center who knows when to shut up and when to go home. He's talking to the he's talking to the shake-up. He's talking about the shake-ups. We're seeing the post-election shuffle of jobs.
So you mean the patronage? I mean
the post-election patrons. We don't have to worry about anybody condemning us now. I got 2 years to forget. I'm going to give everybody who worked in my campaign, any of their relatives or friends, a position if I can. So we now have a new chief of staff after I believe he said during the debates he didn't need a chief of staff. And
line number one.
And we're playing Chinese checkers with everybody else. Faust is going to a new position, and I wonder if they're going to actually attempt to enforce the residency requirement in his new position. And now somebody's going to replace him, another political campaign operative, and the rumor is, we have rumors that there's going to be some changes in DCM. Again, this makes it like the 5th department head in less than, what, a year and a half?
You like that, yeah.
So it seems to, the new deal is they hire you, they give you a big salary, then they realize after they hire you, it doesn't say much for their vetting procedure, that you can't do the job, so then they demote you. They drop your salary, maybe $5,000, and then they give you another job, and then they appoint somebody else, and then they'll demote him. So far with 4, 2 of them didn't get the jobs at all, but we've got 2. Now we've got another one, and from the rumors, we'll have to wait for the action, but from the rumors, they're not really well qualified for the job either. So I don't know.
Hey, yeah, he's got to be whoever this person is. They got to be perfectly qualified for the job. They must have kissed a lot of political ass to get it.
Or their
mommy or daddy did it.
Well, yeah, or their
wife or girlfriend.
wife or husband was friendly with with somebody, and this is one of the problems. But you know, that's government. You know.
Hey, Fall River doesn't go for quality; we go for quantity.
yeah. And actually, Marc made a comment about you know, you don't get, you know, when you leave, you don't ever get investigated either. You know, even if you spend all kinds of money at a New York hotel and stuff like that, they actually give you a
Well, I
bonus
found a very interesting thing about that. Do you realize that when he resigned, allegedly resigned, the city paid him unemployment?
Of course. What do you think, they were going to cut him back with just that big fat buyout?
I know.
He's got to get something every week.
I know. Besides giving him the buyout, so we're still paying for him.
You resign.
So we're still paying for him. So, you know, yeah, I can tell you spanked him, Mr. Mayor. You spanked him so hard, he's still collecting city tax dollars.
And when he runs out of unemployment, they'll probably give him another job somewhere, because that'll take about a year to run out. By that time, they'll think everybody forgot. But we won't. And then we move into another one, the Fall River Zoning Board, huh?
Yep, they table the billboards.
Oh, how dare they?
Yeah, I know how detrimental to the entire plan the mayor has. But, you know, I got into a debate about this issue yesterday, and I agree with the zoning board tabling this matter.
Wait a minute, we're agreeing way too much with some of these people. You just kind of...
Well, because the thing is that the city council voted to send it to the state for approval. They didn't vote to send it to ZBA. They didn't vote to send it to planning. They didn't vote to send it to make it an ordinance. They sent it to the state for approval. Now, once it comes back from the state that has approval, then let it go through the remainder process. Because this same plan has been shot down before. And the minions who are blinded by, you know, their love for their messiah, their emperor, their whatever you want to call them, saying, well, why you complain that government moves too slow, now you're complaining that government moves too fast. We're not complaining that government's doing anything but what it's not doing, and it's not doing it properly.
It's not complying with the law.
That's right.
There's a process. There's a procedure. That's what they don't understand. It's like, oh, now, you know, they're being obstructionists. They're blocking the man. No, you know, that's the whole problem, people, especially you that had the debate with CJ. It's like the windows. Why did we get 22 windows and nobody knew who put them in? And I don't think we still do really know.
No, we don't know.
You know, we don't know. That's years ago already. You know, and the mayor's sitting in an office that they're replacing windows in, and he didn't know they were being replaced. You know, so there's so many questions about that stuff. But why? Why do these things happen? Well, there are steps, there are protocols, there is a legal process for bidding. That's what governments, you're supposed to follow the law. This is supposed to be the part of our society that creates the laws that we live by and enforces the law that we live by. Next thing we'll talk about is a legal opinion. Well, why get a legal opinion if nobody cares about what the law says anyway? Because this is fundamentally what they're saying. The mayor has the right to begin this process, which he's done on numerous other things, before we go through the process.
Oh, you mean like the rail trail?
Yeah, like the rail trail and like a lot of other things. He begins his agenda and he goes down, and I want my agenda. To hell with the fact that there's a bidding process or there's something else that has to be followed. Well, as you said, they can say what they want, but the state has to approve this first. There's a protocol here. There's a legal process. So what happens if the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they go through all this crap, and they get everything all lined up, and then the state says you can't do it? You know, it's out of order. You know, it's like running up the third baseline in a baseball game. You can't take that shortcut. You can't run to third and run back to home.
Oh, shucks.
You got to round the bases. So, you know, don't start just throwing rocks because you don't like it. The fact is that you know, you have to follow a process. And if the process requires a bid process, as we've seen before, it shouldn't be the person who you want to get the bid that writes the RFP. The RFP should be made so you can get competitive bids. There is a process, and they're not following it.
No, the guy who's going to get it has got to write the RFP.
Exactly. And it'll say that somebody has to be his height, his weight, the same color eyes, etc. And I mean, it's absurd. But who cares? It's only the taxpayers and money you're wasting. And then we get to, with all this about compliance with the law, our corporation counsel decided to, and I will quote from this letter I have in front of me, although there has been no formal request from any elected or appointed official for an opinion from this office. Well, I really doubt that, but that's okay. And if there's no request, why? It is clear that some answer to the above question must be provided. Really? Why? If nobody asks a question, why do you need an answer? Let somebody contest it. By default, that responsibility falls upon this office, as no other city department has the duty or responsibility to render such an opinion. Well, in rendering the opinion, certain assumptions have been made and certain issues have not been considered. And then it goes on to say that, you know, constitutionally the charter is not at issue. Well, actually it may be, but that's, okay. The enactment of the city charter is in substance the abolition of the old Gillett versus City of Quincy, 292, Mass. 222, 1935. The date which Mr. Hetzel would begin to hold two positions is not an issue. He would begin to hold office being sworn in. The opinion is the election just concluded, and he talks about, then he cites the section in the charter, quote, section 4-3. No member of the school committee shall hold any other compensated city position. I hate to tell you this, but the mayor gets compensated, doesn't he? Does the mayor get paid?
Yeah, I think he does.
I think the mayor gets paid. So why isn't the question of the mayor serving on the school committee also a question?
Exactly.
Mr. Hetzler was elected by the people. Mr. Carrere was elected mayor of the city. But ex officio, he's on the school committee.
Actually, he's not ex officio. He has a vote.
Well, he has a vote now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he has a vote. He has, yeah. So, but technically, it's by his office. So, by his office, he's now, and they tried to change that. Obviously, there was an attempt to change that. But the fact is, he also, as it says here in quotations, no member of the school committee shall hold any other compensated city position. It doesn't say school side, city side, any other city compensated position. The mayor holds a compensated position. So what? Somebody's going to say, well, he doesn't get a paycheck. Well, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't say that. Doesn't get a paycheck from the school committee, from the school side. No, that's not what it says. Read the charter. Read our wonderful new charter. Technically, he should be prohibited from holding it because he holds a compensated position. So, but the key is, and our corporation counsel is very careful in his opinion when he fashioned it, to make sure everybody understands that this is an opinion. An opinion. It is not the law. He's not a judge. He's not a court. As the case he cited, Gillett versus City of Quincy, that's a court case. That's a precedent. This is just an opinion, and it's an opinion that
can be challenged in court.
It can be challenged in court, and I disagree with the opinion. I don't disagree that Mr. Hetzler should serve, because I truly believe that provision is unconstitutional. You can't prohibit somebody that's elected by the people who are, by the Constitution of this state, are have the final say in everything when it says at all times our government and its elected officials and magistrates are answerable to the people. The people of Fall River elected Mr. Hetzler. There should be no charter, and I don't believe that charter. I believe that's a violation of the Constitution of our state. There should be nothing. And people go, well, and I actually heard, Mr. Hetzler came in the last show, and he stuck his head in and, talked, and he said they told him that that the city has the right to make things more strict, and that's not true in some cases. In law it is. In certain laws it is. The federal government says, if you have a speed limit higher than 65, you can't have one, and your state decides to have a speed limit of 75, you lose federal funding because you can't you can make things more stringent. You can drop it to 55 from 65, but you can't make it more lenient. That doesn't go for constitutional guarantees, people. You have a constitutional right for certain things. Freedom of speech. You can't pass a law that violates the Constitution. You need a constitutional convention to change the Constitution. Can't change the Constitution of this state. The state constitution clearly states the people decide. The people decided that Mr. Hetzler should be one of their school committee people. And therefore he should be. Not just for this term, but as long as they want him. And it's the same with the mayor. The mayor is there because he was elected mayor, and whoever's mayor is going to be there. But that shouldn't be in this opinion, because right now his opinion doesn't deal with everybody who gets who has a compensated city position, because the mayor has one. So again, it's just too bad. I just wish I could hit the Powerball someday, and I could hire a nice big-time attorney to take this entire thing to the Supreme Court of the state of Massachusetts and let the SJC decide that if they either want to uphold our charter or remove Section 5 of Part of the First of the Commonwealth's Constitution. Because, to me, the whole, there are so many bad things in this charter, this being one of them. So I just, I read this opinion and it's like, how about the opinion of the people? That's who the Commonwealth of Massachusetts says are the people who run the government, as does our federal government. But what the heck do we know?
Screw the people, who cares?
That's right. So you've basically discriminated it against an entire segment of the population.
That's right.
Anybody that's a city employee loses their right to hold office in their government. They're residents of the city. They can pay taxes, but they can't be part of the government. That's...
Well, it was interesting because I was at the licensing board hearing yesterday. Now, according to this opinion, it says this charter is in effect on November 13th, 2017, in its entirety, except for Section 4-3. So, according to that, all boards and commissions must, not if they want to, must have citizens' input time. You know what I was told by the licensing board? We haven't been notified of that yet by the corporate council. We have to been told what we have to do.
Well, don't they realize as board members they're responsible to work within the law? When you're a board member, you're supposed to uphold the laws of the Commonwealth of the United States and of city ordinances and charters, etc. I mean, but they don't.
Who cares?
You have to tell them, right?
Yeah.
We know nothing. We don't want to know
That's
nothing.
Right. Thank you, Sergeant Schultz.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
And you know why we have such a problem all the time? Do you have any idea why we have such a problem all the time? I'll tell you why.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Can't
Yeah.
get any better than that.
That's right. Nobody cares, you know.
So,
And
hey, on this, I loved it that the mayor and Kathy Ann had it stuck up their tuchus. You know, the city of New Bedford and many other cities throughout the Commonwealth advise their elected, appointed, and city employees, do not use your personal email, do not use your personal cell phone, and do not use text messaging for city business. They all make it very clear. And they've made it clear because they said, because if you do that, that information is part of the public record and can be requested to be viewed. Now, the mayor, being a millennial, does everything via text. They walk around texting all the time.
And, you know, obviously they didn't pay attention to what happened to Hillary.
Right. And here's the problem. They think, well, once I delete the text messages, they're gone. Wrong. Under the Patriot Act, telecommunications records must be kept for a minimum of 3 years. 3 years.
Uh-oh.
And I don't want to hear Gary Howiak say, oh, no, it's going to be too cost prohibitive to get this information. Well, he should have thought about that before he was conducting city business on his personal cell phone.
Yeah, go tell that to the judge. You know what he's
Exactly.
gonna say. Yeah, it's like when a judge sets your alimony payments. You go, I think that's too much. Well, I don't care what you think. I'm the judge. So that's it. You pay or you go to jail. So guess what? They have to do it. And I'll tell you what, I'll be very interested to see some of those.
Well, that's going to be the thing, because this is a civil trial.
Yep.
Which means that all the records are going to be public information. Which means all Kathy Ann's text messages, all her personal emails, all the mayor's text messages, his personal emails, are all going to be public record, which means anybody can view them. Anybody can view them. And guess what? I'll be the first one in line to get copies of them.
There'll be a long line, I think.
I'm quite sure, because people want to know what he said about them.
Yep.
And if he said it via a text message, which most people today do, see, this is why I tell people all the time, I don't like texting. I hate texting. I don't text. I don't like it. Text me all you want. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, I don't like it either, but like it takes these size 16 fingers to kind of type on a little tiny keyboard. I don't spell that well anyway, but now on that thing it doesn't even look like the word. But as you said, you know, I'm very interested because there's a lot of texting that goes on during city council meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's between, you know, and they're texting, you can see our financial team reading their phones during the meetings, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on there, and now they have to turn all this stuff in, and guess what?
Well, here's the kicker.
We're going to find out what they're really saying.
Right. Now, here's the kicker. The Attorney General has said that if it's present during a public meeting, it's part of the public record. It must be included in the record of the meeting. So when Kathy Ann was going, and this is how we plan on getting rid of the purple bags, she didn't disseminate it to the entire council, but she had it in hand. She had it at the meeting. It was present at the meeting. Therefore, it is part of the permanent record. She says she doesn't have to provide it because it's work product. Well, guess what? That's not going to hold. And when a 30A violation is issued because of it, are you going to pay the fine, Kathy Ann? It's $1,000.
Could have been just a prop, too. Could have been a Benny's final sale. I know it doesn't matter, but the fact is she could have been pulling up a nice,
I know.
She's been trying to con a council. Look what I got here. I got an original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
We know Madame Pinocchio's good at that.
That's right. So I'm not even sure if there was a plan in hand, but.
Well, Joe Macy was a little upset about this judge's order because he said the city wasn't even given a hearing on it. Obviously, there must have been a hearing on it because Gary Howiak was present.
Well, you know, he's very upset that a judge did that. But when he was a judge, I'm sure he did it more than once. So, hey, welcome back to the world of you're just a regular attorney now.
I know.
And you chose to be. You know, you could be, you could have sit at home and had everybody call you judge. Now you're the corporation counsel, so you're just another attorney who renders opinions.
Right, and the thing is that the lawyers for Froed in this case immediately sent notice to preserve all communications and documents regarding this matter. So it's not like the city wasn't on notice. The city knew. The city was told, preserve these documents. So they should have had them. They should have had them ready for the judge when he asked for them. I know.
Oh, sure.
I'm living somewhere else. I'm living in a fantasy world. Yeah.
They're gonna be. This will be worse than pulling wisdom teeth to try to get this stuff. And I don't care if they say these are, you know, they're all of them. I doubt it. I don't even know how they could, you know, they're going to have to basically, you know, pull all the records and get all the text records. As you said, the thing is, it's going to give them a difficult situation to have to negotiate. Is the fact that the Patriot Act changed a lot of things.
That's right, and that's the big thing. And
these made a requirement of these things being, you couldn't just get rid of them.
Right. And these communication companies have them. That's why as soon as they think somebody's a terrorist and they're using cellular communications or text messaging or social media, they go after it right away because they have access to it. They have access to it.
Yeah, and as you said, the problem is this is not a criminal trial.
Right, it's a civil matter.
Civil matter, and guess what? Like you said, there's a difference. Difference in the threshold of proof necessary. Also, there's a difference in the fact that things become public record.
Right, because this isn't a divorce. In a divorce, everything is, you know, private. It's locked out. None of that becomes very public because it's family matters. Probate court, divorce court, adoptions, all of that. Those are all. Family court is very private. But civil matters are not very private. They become the fountain of information for dramedies on television.
Dramedies, okay.
Yeah, that's dramatic comedies, you know.
Okay. I'm not up on that.
Well, you know, it gets to be very interesting. Hey, what do you think about the fact that our garages are falling apart?
Well.
Not like we didn't know this already.
Why doesn't that surprise me? All our buildings are falling apart. The garages are falling apart. Everything falls apart, in spite of the fact that our ordinance demands that we maintain these things.
Right.
And we're paying people six-figure salaries to run departments who are commissioned to maintain it. And every department, school department, has maintenance personnel. They have someone getting a six-figure salary in charge of buildings and grounds.
Really?
Yes. And we have people in charge of buildings. But obviously nobody does anything. So, look, why should a garage, especially an outdoor garage like this, it's not an indoor, you know, it's gone. It's just
they're going to take off the top two tiers.
Weren't we going to have the Hanging Gardens of Babylon on the third tier of this thing?
Yeah, something along that line. But the top two floors are going to disappear. So what good is the garage at all? Just take the whole thing down. And they're going to take off the top two levels so they can get 10 more years out of the bottom two levels. Yeah. But they're not talking about the fact that they're losing half the parking.
Yeah, and why don't we just bulldoze it and make it a parking lot?
It'll just be another one. It'll just be another one that the city has.
I hear the music. Everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Remember, stay angry and be looking for the weekend flush on Sunday.
Try to get the long piece of the wishbone.
Have a great weekend and enjoy your holiday.
CJ, we locking up?